On ET now, we're traversing India's top cities and industries, all in the hope to find answers to just one question. What does India Inc. want from Budget 2026? So join me in Chennai as I track how the Trump tariffs have impacted business at auto ancillary industries and whether the component ecosystem is keeping up with India's big EV shift.
Our first stop on our Yatra takes us all the way to one of the sector's hubs in Thirumudivakam, located within the Sri Perumbudur area. It's right here that GH Induction India builds components for domestic automobile consumption and exports. In recent times though, it's that second bit that has seen the most stress.
Perhaps the greatest challenge that plagued India's auto components sector came in the middle of last year when US President Donald Trump imposed the infamous Trump tariffs totaling to 50% on components exported to the US. America's reasoning was that these were penalties on India owing to the country's patronage for Russian oil. On the ground in Chennai, the impact of those tariffs was felt by way of cancelled or delayed orders. After all, American imports of India-made auto components accounted for 30% of the industry's top line. What the tariffs did was throw a spanner in the works of component makers, pushing them to seek out alternate export markets to offset the shock.
There's a challenge not only from the tariff alone. The tariff has impacted us tremendously, but on top of it, the European market going down was also part of the challenge. With the tariff being implemented, we had challenges from Thailand, Indonesia and Vietnam. Also pitching up for the space we lost. And we thought that we will have the impact only on the 50%, but then it also increased much further than that on the total market. So I would guess that some customers of ours are affected, some less, some more. The people who had warehousing there were affected much more than people who were able to export from here, X-Works Chennai. They had lesser impact compared to the ones who had warehouses there.
We've traveled from Chennai to the neighboring town of Gummudipundi to make a pit stop at Emerald Tyre's plant in the region. Now, the rubber industry is a critical part of the auto component manufacturing ecosystem, powering exports and rural employment. However, it's also this industry that faces a host of challenges, including raw material shortages, inverted duty structures, and global trade pressures on account of President Donald Trump's tariffs on exports from India.
The Indian industry is gearing up to meet the international standards. So in many ways, we are peaking in terms of productivity, we are peaking in terms of quality. So all those companies who are coming into India want to look at local sources, and that is what is fueling the growth. Other than that, China plus one has been an advantage. Probably, that if the tariffs are taken care of, the industry will further grow.
So if you were to have a wish list in your hand and jot down the kind of duty structure that would be most preferable to the industry itself, what would that look like?
Raw material should be allowed to be imported, at least to the extent of shortage of natural rubber. We should be allowed to import at zero duty. Other raw materials also, there is a lot of ADD being added on to some of the critical chemicals which are not available, which are not fully manufactured in India. So if those chemicals are allowed to be imported at zero duties, then that helps. The other side of it is, if there are if duties are imposed on imported products, at least there is a safeguard for the industry. So this is something which is very critical. Either way, either you allow raw materials to be imported at a lesser duty, or you allow finished goods to be imported at certain duty levels, which gives a competitive edge for the industry. So that is something which we are very hopeful that the government will address at this point.
Absolutely.